And we are live. Hello, Austin. I see you there. Buddy, how have you been? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. This one, I know, Austin, you don't drink, but this one I don't know about. It's a Christmas beer, and it's mainly brewed with cinnamon. It's a little rough. I might have to switch to something else because that one is not super palatable. So, here we go with another impromptu Wednesday live stream. Uh, yeah, there's a lot going on, but I still figured I would come out here in the garage and hang out with you guys for a little bit, see what's going on with you. I am going to make it longer, hopefully, than it was last week. I figured out what my problem was last week. I got too tipsy too quick because I hadn't ate dinner, and yeah, that I it just I skipped it in my mind. I didn't have time. I had to come out here and start the live stream, and started having my beers, and I started getting real tipsy real quick. So I cut it off a little early last week. So that will not happen this week. I should be out here for a while. I'm going to go ahead and switch to something else and hope that it tastes a little better than my first pick, which sucks because the first one cost me $9. Oh boy, that's rough. I'll see if I can choke it down later. Anyhow, Renegade's Garage, what's going on, sir? It's a lovely Wednesday out here in the chilly garage, and we're hanging out. We're assessing things, and I'm in a world of hurt, man. Um, I know I talked to you, Renegade, and kind of informed you of some of the situation. What is today? Today's the 9th. By just after Christmas, it sounds like I am going to be relocating, and I will not be in this setting anymore. So that brings its own interesting problems to the surface of all this stuff has to go somewhere. So the next couple of weeks for me look to be busy. I I got a storage unit for most of the stuff in the garage. It's not as big as I wanted because they didn't have the bigger ones available, so we're going to see what I can do with a 5 by 10 storage unit. My toolbox alone is a 62 inch, so that's just over 5 feet, right? So that's half the length of the storage unit and 2 foot wide. So I'm gonna have to be stacking stuff, storing things inside stuff, making some of the impossible happen. So I gotta move by like literally as close to after Christmas as I can. Like by that Friday, whatever it is, like the 30th or the 31st or whatever. Um, I pretty much gotta be out of here, so to speak. Yeah, no, and I understand. I got my brother said he's gonna give me a hand. My wife is gonna help pack some things, which is gonna be super helpful. And then I'm trying to move the garage I have 3 days off here. I still have some other responsibilities in this time frame, but I'm going to start trying to get everything I can moved out and to the storage unit. The only bad thing about that is I kind of need the big stuff to go sort of first, I kind of think. I mean, at least some stuff. So it's going to be interesting uh, how this all goes. It's going to be really, it's going to be challenging. So, no big worry or fret, so to speak. But yeah, it's going to be a busy time. And uh, kind of excited about the new place. I go and sign the paperwork and stuff tomorrow, and I it'll be interesting. It's going to change up the content a little bit because I'm not going to have a garage. So I was kind of thinking more like tool reviews, depending on the tool, and like tear downs of the tools, kind of checking them out. You do some things like that, I think. Um, Maybe some other informational type stuff, just throwing that out there. So we'll see what I can do with the content. Um, but yeah, so that I thought was interesting. I should have a pretty well dedicated office that I'm going to try to shoot from. I think we'll see how it all turns out. That's not bad. This is a little better. It's a mostly holiday themed beer run tonight, and this is the Shiner Holiday Cheer from Spotzel. Yeah, it's not bad. It's better than the other one. Ah, Mr. Fix It. What's going on, buddy? I was literally looking at one of your Instagram posts before. Oh, and then my shit refreshed on me. I hate that. Should still be down here somewhere though. But I was just looking at your Instagram post. I didn't get to see much of it before my attention got diverted. But yes, um, yeah. I mean, yeah. You try to stay as positive as possible. It's a lot of change, right? But I'm confident that I'll make it through. I'll hit the deadlines that I need to hit, and then see where we come out on the other side of things. Um, and that's the other thing. Um, um, well, hey Josh, hey Austin, sir, gentlemen, guys. If you don't know, Austin does have a YouTube and Instagram. You can check that out if you would like. I know I've been meaning to give him a legitimate shout out, but I the I haven't really been shooting a lot of videos. I did the advertisement, we'll call it, for Tack Life, and so yeah, I didn't want to do a shout out on that video for obvious reasons, but yeah, I'm still working on it, Austin. When I get something a little better, I'll try to go in that way and give you a proper shout out. But for now, yeah, uh, Fix It. I am relocating to a very nice apartment, but an apartment nonetheless, without the beauty of a garage. So most of this shit is going into storage. Austin's channel. Honestly, you can't quote me on that, because he's got like, I think, a separate Instagram account that always like throws me off because one's like, I want to say it's like gaming or live. So at the moment, I do not have the exact name of the channel. Austin, I don't have the ability right now to make him a moderator. Um, I can try to look it up. Give me a second. My computer's going to be slow. Or wait, let me do it on the phone. I know he sends me messages, so let me check those and see if I can find it. Okay, on Instagram, he's gaming Austin, but it's showing up as Austin dot Fully, Fully, and yeah, then from there you can, I'm sure, find a way to connect to his other stuff like the YouTube. I know him and Josh do live streams and stuff kind of often. I haven't been able to catch as many of them because of work, but yeah. So there is that. So back to the conversation. So I'm relocating to an apartment. Um, it's a nice apartment, but it doesn't have a garage. So all this shit has to go to storage, and I really have been meaning to try to figure out the giveaway winner pays shipping stuff, but honestly, I haven't even had time to think about it. Work's been crazy, right? Because of that, and everything else is just as nuts as work. So I've been kind of busy. I haven't had time to think of it, and I'm trying to think of the way that it needs to be done, right? So the idea is, let's say, you're welcome, Josh. Let's say Renegade uh, wins or chooses to take one of the items. I have to go actually, I mean, the way I ship stuff, I have to actually go like pay for the shipping and then kind of tell the person after the fact what that would be. Now, you know, I would obviously be on the level, but like I don't know like how that would go because destination matters, the weight's gonna matter, the size of the package is gonna matter. So I pretty much need to ship it first. Um, Instagram PKSKID. Thanks for stopping by, Tone. I appreciate it. I have checked out a couple of your videos. So yes, guys, if you haven't, go check out Nuts and Bolts with Tone. Some interesting stuff over there. Fresh take on a lot of things from what I can tell. It's always good to see, like, you know, different faces. Like, sometimes, even my stuff, I completely understand people don't watch my stuff all the time, and I get that. I don't watch the same stuff all the time either. So, it kind of is what it is. Uh, so I'm trying to figure out the giveaway thing, but life ain't gonna get any more easy between now and when I move. So I don't know, I gotta try to figure that out. I think for most people, and for the packages that I would be giving away, I think it'd probably be safe to assume somewhere between thinking like $25 to $50, give or take. That's just an estimate based on some of the stuff I've sent before. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I won't even do like a legitimate giveaway. Maybe I'll just ask around on Instagram through my peoples and see who would like to basically purchase something for the cost of shipping and do it that way. Because the less stuff I have to put in this 5x10 closet that I call a storage unit, the better. Because as you can see, I got that toolbox. I got two other smaller ones. I have two big, they're short, but they're very big filing cabinets that I usually store tools in. So I don't want to get rid of everything because, I mean, none of it's like super nice, but I like it, especially the filing cabinets are really good, so I want to keep those, but I'm going to have to literally load them down with stuff to justify putting them in the storage unit. Oh yeah, yeah. Good luck with the move. I appreciate that. It's gonna be. I don't like moving. It became something a few years back that I became kind of good at. Like, I mean, not like that, but like I just had done it a lot when I was younger, I guess. And so it wasn't that bad. But now I've accumulated a lot more stuff over like the last 7 or so years. And moving is no longer fun. It's like a legitimate task. Yeah, 5 by 10 stack it tall. You ain't kidding. You are not kidding. You are definitely not kidding. It'll have to go. I think it's like 8 foot tall. I haven't looked at it yet, but yeah, it's gonna be stacked to the rafters because like I got a shop vac. It's a smaller one. It's over there. You can barely see it off camera. I have a small pressure washer. I have the garage heater. I got a ladder, couple ladders. That like luckily, if you look behind me here, just behind the welder here, it's a foldable table, like a prop up, and luckily that's foldable and collapsible, so that'll save some space there. But yeah, I mean, it's as messy as you guys can imagine, and I got to try to get all of this stuff. This is the worst of it. All the stuff in the house, man. All the stuff in the house is going to be cake work. Just throw things in. Uh, I got these weird containers. They look like IKEA bags, but they zip. They're like a weird square tarp duffel bag kind of thing. But I got a bunch of those for cheap, and they seem like they're gonna do pretty good because yeah, I don't have time for a garage sale. I thought about that too, and also at the same point, I don't know when I will get a garage again, but at least sometime in the future, right? I'm gonna have to, and I don't want to have to reacquire a lot of this stuff. Like my welder, I like it. It works. Like I don't want to get rid of it. Plus, I mean, I if to sell all this stuff in the amount of time, I'd have to have like a fire sale. It would literally be cheap as fuck, and I don't know if I want to do that. If it gets really bad, if like the storage unit really starts filling up fast, then then maybe I'll resort to that. But I mean, it would be a mess. It would be like one of those Facebook posts where it's just like, stop by, see if you want to buy something for $2. I don't know. I was thinking, like one of my toolboxes, I have like all my odds and ends that I like literally never touch. I mean, there's still some good stuff in there I would have to go through, but like some of it's Chinese wrenches, Taiwan, you know, just odds and ends. I've got like bags of sockets, that are, and I think part of the issue is the time. If I had time to go through everything, really figure out what I wanted to keep, but like half of that stuff in my what I call my junk toolbox, like I don't really even need to keep it. I was thinking about donating it to like the Restore, because they sell like used tools and stuff. Yeah, the room stuff I'm not worried about. This garage stuff, I don't have the privilege of being too gentle with. Like I got a bag over here. It's got like my sanding stuff, my Dremel stuff. Like it kind of has a theme, but then there's just some odds and ends that are thrown in there. I literally have to just be going through stuff. I have my Cobalt 12-inch miter saw right here. That's pretty big and doesn't like collapse or anything. So that's gonna be something that takes up some space. It's gonna be weird, guys. 3 people are still watching. I appreciate it because this is definitely not. I mean, it's tool related, but it's definitely not your normal tool talk of trying to figure out how to downgrade to a -0 garage. good news is the Fiesta seems to be running fine. It did do a thing the other day, and I haven't had a lot of time to like look into it. It felt like I was driving it, and I was getting on the highway, and it felt like the engine noise changed. It seems like maybe it got a little louder, maybe a little more whiny to kind of describe it in a way. It's not a huge difference. But I did notice the difference because I was waiting for like the check engine light to come on or something to happen, and nothing happened. So I drove it a pretty good distance all the way home, the whole while kind of wondering like what the hell. And it's been fine. I've drove it to and from work multiple times, which is a long haul, and it just sounds like that now. Like it, no check engine lights, no crazy anything, but that's what it sounds like. And I haven't really got under there to really look at anything because I don't have time. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Oh, so hopefully it doesn't explode on me. Thanks, Austin. I like the jacket as well. It's actually really warm, and according to my thermostat, we're actually almost up to like 60 degrees. Thankfully, which means we will be able to turn off the heater in a short bit. These little torpedo propane heaters, I just got a small one, but it makes a night and day difference if you don't have a heated garage. It's pretty awesome. It really is. I did a video on it a while back. It was a hand-me-down. It was used. I didn't buy it new. Give me 2 seconds. But yeah, they really do. They make a huge difference. Like even this thing, and the propane cylinder, I want to say is about $25. Amos Cardoza, what's going on, buddy? How are you, sir? It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, I guess I'm ready for Christmas. I think I got like one more thing to buy, and one more thing that's like being shipped to my house now through Amazon, of course. But yeah, I think I'm pretty close to ready. Well, except for the whole as soon as Christmas is technically over, I'm moving thing. I'm not ready for that. I got a lot to do in the next few days. I already got the storage unit, so I'm gonna start this clusterfuck of stuff, getting it over there and seeing what that looks like. Oh, Amazon does not sell these jackets. They give them out to, I think they were originally designed for some of the drivers. Hey, Zaphael. Appreciate the comment. Definitely do like the jacket, and it's like, it's crazy good quality. Like, it's got a super hood with like the long bill on it. You can flip it up and look silly if you want. I mean, it's got a lot of nice features, pockets everywhere. It's actually, you can't tell in this light, but the gray over here, the logo, all of this is like the high vis, like reflective. I think it's water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant. It's pretty nice. So when I got the opportunity to get one, I jumped on it because I could tell how nice the jacket was. Plus, it's like full length. Yeah, they're really nice. But I think they were originally intended for the drivers. Maybe back when they were actually employed by Amazon. Um, Now they're third party kind of companies that do the drivers, but they still get some Amazon attire, but it's I don't think it's quite on this level. So anyway, I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, so we will do the Tack Life Ratchet. I'm done with that thing. I thought about trying to shoot a video, but with everything else going on, like a comparison between it, the Chemo, and the Milwaukee, but I'm not going to have time. I'm really not. Plus, I think the Tack Life is made in the same um, factory that the Chemo is, and let me show you why. Okay, we're going to see how I can do without dying here. I don't think they did. I would have heard about that if they did. I don't think they did. But it's probably not far. Anyhow, yeah, everyone keeps saying garage sale, but I don't think I have the time, X. Um, I really don't. I might have to if it gets really drastic, just have a fire sale, but it would have to be just that, like literally a fire sale. I would lose my ass. Yeah, I would literally lose my ass. Anyhow, so if you look at the Chemo case here, set this down, and then next to it, the Tack Life case. If you look at, I'm not holding them right. If you look at the markings on the case, they're identical. And then again on the back, this one's got a sticker on the Tack Life where the Chemo doesn't, but you can tell it's the same mold. There's slight differences on the inside of how they're laid out, but they're literally the same hinges, everything. They're plastic. Uh, yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I still cannot figure out who makes Chemo, but or for that matter, the Tack Life. I haven't tried to source the manufacturer, but it is made in Shenzhen, which is where they make most of the technology based things. So that's where at least the office is. But yeah, so they're probably made in the same factory. X, I see that. So the other issue is like some of my fluids. Like most of you guys, I stock up on some of the oil change stuff, right? Especially with what I was just doing with the Fiesta. Um, I have the stuff for like 2 or 3 oil changes, filters and all, but I'm not going to be able to do them, at least not where I'm going. Maybe I could drive over to a buddy's house or something and do one over there, but like my oil pans, I'm probably just going to toss those out, stuff like that. But I have a whole rack over there with paint and solvents and starting fluid and just power steering fluid, oil, Windex, all the other stuff. But like I got all of that. I got to kind of assess and see what I got to go through. This is going to be nuts. And I'm kind of dreading it for that reason, because I'm going to have to let a lot of stuff go. I'm trying not to let any of the important stuff go, let mostly replaceable things go. That that's a little underhanded though, ain't it? A little bit. All right, Austin, thanks for stopping by, guys. Remember Austin's Instagram. Go over there, check him out if you have time. Um, yeah, I don't want to do anything underhanded. I would literally just state like it's a divorce sale and everything must go. Right? Like that seems like the most straightforward. Uh, unfortunately, and shit, that probably would get a lot of traction. But when you, at least I don't know about you guys, when you look at your own stuff, doesn't it seem like junky? Like, I mean, to a degree, like my welder. It's a good welder, but like I can't imagine like trying to sell it, like not upsell it, but talk about it. I'd be like, it's a welder, it works. Like, what else do you need to know? You know what I mean? So that would be the other thing. I don't want to haggle with people. It would have to be like a fire sale. Price is so low, people would leave with truckloads full of stuff. I got my car ramps over there that I bought a while back at a garage sale. They're the old metal ones, the good ones. Um, so I got those. I'd rather probably not keep. I have ooh my my 10-ton hydraulic ram kit. You see them at like Harbor Freight. A lot of people call them like the Porta Power kits. You use them when you're doing like body work on cars and smash things like I have done a lot in the past. And yeah, so I got that kit. I actually recently used it to fix my brother's car that he wrecked. I didn't do that on video. He did most of the work before I even got there. I just helped straighten some things up, make sure some things fit right, and it wasn't perfect, but it got him back on the road, and yeah. So that wasn't like a salvage though. He just got like a rough fender bender. They didn't. Insurance wasn't involved, so his car didn't get like totaled out. That is a good idea. Handfuls of sockets for the kids. Check this out. Oh, the hell? Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Where is it? Here's one. It's not much. This looks to be my metric, but it's like one of these Ryobi bags full of all my rusty Chinese made sockets. I went through them a while back and got all the cheap ones out of the way, I think, anyway. And so this is all like the cheap sockets. You could probably just go drop this off at like the restore. Get rid of it. I'm gonna die in my own garage tripping over stuff. And there's barely anything in here. Well, I say that. There's barely anything in the walkways. But yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I mean, there's other stuff. Like I got a couple little like table clamp vices. I got the new vice that I just fucking bought not long ago. That's down on the corner of my bench. I need to get that thing off because I want to keep it. Whew. Slingshot in the socket bag. That's a great idea. Man, that'd be some havoc. Hey kid, here's a chemo charger that I can't find a battery for. That's that you're not lying. And then like most of the actual video equipment, actually all of the actual video equipment is going in the apartment, so that won't be a problem. It's just really it's all the big stuff. I got a chainsaw sitting over there. That's probably going wayward. I have like the furniture mover, little dolly thing. I might actually need to use that. I got 5 rolls of the 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 like toolbox drawer liner, you can call it, the kind with the holes in it. You got 5 giant rolls of that stuff. What? Oh, it's like everything comes to fruition when you realize that you were just like accumulating stuff. I've probably had that stuff sitting over there for a year, and I think I had like 6 rolls. Oh no, there is 6 rolls. Shit. There's 6 rolls of it over there. I think I used one on the Cobalt. No, I didn't. I don't know where I used one, but I used one for something, and I haven't done much with it since. I think the idea was to line all the toolbox drawers, but it came with liners, so that didn't happen. No, it's fixed. It's working. Damn it. It's still working. I was saying earlier, it is making a sound. It's not really a sound, more of like a general sound difference that I noticed, but nothing's going wrong with it so far. No check engine lights. I don't, it's not low on coolant or anything crazy. It just seems like the sound of the engine changed slightly. It used to be like pretty quiet, and it still is most of the time, but just occasionally, for some reason, I feel like I'm maybe hearing the top end of the engine, like the valves, maybe a little more than I should. I don't know. That seems like a weird statement, but that's what I got. It seems like it sounds funny, but it drives fine, so I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, it's all crap you don't need until you need it. That's the problem. Like if I looked at any of you guys right now and I said, assuming you're in the same similar setup to what I have, is you have some stuff. If I looked at you right now and said, okay, you need to fit everything in your garage in a 5x10 storage unit, you'd probably be fucked too, like I am. So we're gonna see if I can get the giveaways going, because for sure, the only thing I will say, I rethought. Oh God, it's heavy, and it's not right side up. I rethought the Milwaukee kit, right? The 5 tool, Brad's workbench. Finally caught some of the West Coast guys. Um, so I think I'm gonna keep this because where I'm going, if I have to do something, this is probably going to be a good bet to keep in the apartment. Most of the other power tools and things I might not be able to like really run and do crazy stuff with, but these seem like that perfect balance of functionality with quiet, hopefully. And then there's always like one of my best videos that I've done recently, the Ryobi Quiet Strike 1/4 inch hex impact. That thing is quieter than a normal impact, so that might be okay in an apartment setting. We'll see. Yeah, Brad, you are already in a closet, so I don't want to hear it. But I am not. I told the storage guy, he goes, well, how much stuff you moving in? And I said, I mean, you guys could argue it. I call this a 2-car garage. I could fit 2 cars in here if I really had to. Not with all the stuff where it's at, but it could. And so I said, it's basically it's a 2-car garage. And he goes, oh, well, there's no way. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, a 2-car garage, I can fit cars in. And he goes, oh, okay, yeah, like maybe. Yeah. So, it's going to be rough. Hell, I still have a broken engine hoist that Black Zeus Garage gave me because I said I was going to fix it. Or I said I was going to turn it into a dent puller. And that never happened. And so it's still laying over there on the ground. Yeah, can't do anything with that. Yeah, we all know Brad's in the closet. Yes, we do. I will say, I've been watching some of Brad's stuff. Obviously, he did the Friday night live stream last week. I caught most of that. I do think I cut out early for some reason. I can't remember why. But I think I cut out a little earlier than normal. But he did that crafts show. He posted some stuff on Instagram for that. And, showcasing some of his products and things. The guy's been busy. And then he just recently posted a picture on Instagram for the signs that he made. God, who was it, Brad? I forget. It was like, what was it? It was like snow something. Why am I thinking snow? It was a woodworking thing. Anyhow, he made these signs for this other guy business thing, whatever, and it it looked awesome. Like one was a more contemporary piece, like normal grain, and then the other one had like a lot of contrast in it between dark and light. Uh, yeah, I'd say like Seaside Wood Company. There you go. And why was I thinking snow? Maybe because of the white lettering. But yeah, it's like mine kinda. It's different, but it looks like it's epoxy inlay on the lettering. It looks fantastic. And yeah, I mean, if you guys are thinking about decorations or a sign or anything like that, Brad makes awesome stuff. Really awesome stuff. So definitely keep that in mind. And, anything we can do to support somebody not working for the man on 9 to 5 or 11 to 7 or whatever shift it might be, anything we can do to support that, I think it's our duty to attempt to do. So, yeah, check Brad out on Patreon. He has his Etsy store, his products, his tongue wax finish, and sanding paste. I think I'm saying that correctly. And they have, I was looking at this, and I've seen other people, other YouTubers, woodworkers, do videos and comparisons on Brad's product versus like another product. And it's night and day. I mean, the stuff, I'm not a woodworker, but these guys are, and these people are swearing by the stuff. So, definitely something to think about. Check that stuff out. Brad, you're a moderator. If you want to post a link to like the Etsy store, and I think he posts some of his products on the Etsy store too. And they're not like, he wood turns a coffee mug or something, for 100 of them. And no, it's every piece is an individual custom piece, and there's no duplicates out there. He's not mass producing anything. It's all handcrafted. Right? Hopefully. Well, Brad, if you're paying attention, number one, I said maybe. And number two, what is that, a Friday? I think you said? Yeah, that's. And, oh, yeah, that's not this Friday, that's next Friday. Yeah. I'll do my best to make it. I'm still going to be busy. I got to get this garage moved. The garage is the biggest problem. The house and the stuff in it aren't as big a problem as the garage is. So, yeah. Maybe I will have to have a fire sale. Uh, yeah, I might be moving stuff, so we'll see. I mean, it's late enough. Hopefully, by that point in the day, I should be able to hop on and be a guest, at least for like an hour or so. I mean, yeah, I guess I gotta try to do better than Dan. No show Dan McKevitt. No, wait, what are we talking about? You've never worked with? What? Oh, Buckeye Wood. Oh, oh yeah. That would be that would probably be some good wood. I'm gonna go cut off this heater. I think I'm up to temperature. All right. So, and therein lies my other dilemma. I have to take some tools to the apartment because you always need some tools. And I have a few hodgepodge sets that are probably a little worse for the wear, missing 10 millimeter sockets left and right and things. And I have some, like, I still have the Capri quarter inch tool set, socket set, and that's a pretty good set. I'm probably going to take that one. And I got to take some other odds and ends, screwdrivers and things. It's depressing to try to whittle your stuff down to necessities when most of us consider the entire garage a necessity. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Renegades is back. I didn't even realize you left. That's not an insult. Oh, it was a coffee break. I I was saying most of you weren't in here, but I have this. It's called Christmas Bomb. It's a craft beer. I try to be careful about the Christmas stuff. It's really hit or miss. That one is an imperial stout brewed with cinnamon, and boy does it fucking taste like it. It tastes like cinnamon beer, and it's not like Fireball. So that one's a little rough. I actually sidelined that one and went to one of these shiners because it's rough. Uh, so yeah, other than that, I've thought about. Tell me, while I have you guys in here, all five of my most loyal friends, whatever. So, I got five of you in here. What do you think about a more like, maybe not obviously documentary style, but like informational video about certain maybe specialty tools? Because something came up in my head the other day and it got me wondering. And it's been bothering me ever since, and now all of a sudden I want answers. So I was thinking about examining maybe some of the more like specialty tools, um, and things from whatever field you think of. But like the one specifically that was getting me is I was like, oh, like I was thinking about the whole Ugga Dugga argument with like impacts. Everybody just two Ugga Duggas on the lug nuts, and then everybody says you're stretching out the studs, and that's what causes problems and wheels to fall off and all these other things. Studs to snap, things to strip out, lug nuts that won't come off, uh, that kind of thing. So that got me thinking, and I was like, the importance of torquing things down, right? But then I thought about something like the NASCAR and Formula One, the big impact gun they have that does like all 5 or 8 or whatever lug nuts at once. I thought about that contraption. And we know it's huge. I mean, we've all seen it at some point or another. And it got me wondering, is there, what do they use like torque sticks on those? Like, because, right, torque's important. That's the last place you want a wheel falling off or a lug nut coming loose or a stud snapping. So that got me thinking, how do they regulate that? How do they regulate? No, there's not. There's really not. But the technology is still there. So it got me thinking on that big fucking impact that they have. How do they regulate it? How do they torque down the wheels with an impact? And part of what made me think of this was I was sitting there scratching my head going, why do we not have an impact, whether that's pneumatic or it's electric, that has built-in torque settings? I'm not saying like what is it, the AS, is it AS? Who the fuck certifies that shit? I forget. I got my torque here. I got my Harbor Freight certificate of calibration. ASME standard. See, it's done, but I never filled it out. Surprise, surprise. To maintain accuracy, recalibrate every 6 months. That's not happening with a $10 torque wrench, Harbor Freight. Just fucking give it up. Anyhow, but so ASME, I guess it is them. So they are the ones that do all the calibration official certifications, right? So how come we don't have an impact gun that can torque things down? It would seem, from an engineering standpoint, that much like a drill has a clutch, right? You should be able to come up with something comparable for an impact gun that you could say set it to a setting. I'm not saying the settings wouldn't be, I'm sure, exact, right? It'd be more like general 100, 115, 125, whatever, and it's gonna be plus or minus 5 foot-pounds of this setting when you torque it down. Yeah. That would be a fucking money. Why is that not a thing yet? The only thing I can come up with is the volatility of the impact mechanism. That's the only thing I can come up with, is that is so violent. Uh-oh, we've started the argument. The one key, hold on. Let me look at this. Now I gotta check. Now we actually have, look, it's a real live stream now. I'm not whining about my divorce. And now I gotta look. We're gonna type I can't ever spell Milwaukee right. I think I got it though. Milwaukee Impact 1 key. What's it gonna say? What's it gonna say? I'm not seeing anything that's saying anything. Let's go to, oh fuck no, that's eBay. eBay ain't gonna tell me shit. High torque impact wrench. What's this say? Like, one of the things that's starting to bother me about Google. God damn it. Okay, wait. Yeah, here we go. With 1 key. 4-mode drive control provides greater control over output speed and power. Okay, what else does it say? Are you guys looking at my ugly face while I'm trying to read this stuff? I'm sorry. What's it saying? Da, 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 da. It okay. One key technology gives user the ability to customize, track, and manage tools for increased productivity and investment protection. Uh, repeat one key includes the ability to set a repeatable torque output, but I think it's close to maybe what we're talking about, but I don't think it's there. I really don't think it's there. It if it was the same thing that we're talking about, it would legitimately say it controls torque. It says repeatable output, torque output. I'd have to look up a YouTube video and see if anyone. And that's, I was looking at a 1 inch impact that has that. So I don't know that there's a 1/2 inch impact that has that. Maybe it does. Yeah, it looks like there is one. But I don't think that's quite what we're talking about. It's definitely along the same lines. I'm gonna kill that out. Move. The camera's right in front of the fucking thing that I need. Of course, don't do that, maintenance man. I clicked back and I caught you, and there's the notification. Delayed as all shit. Uh, is a friction clutch like a drill? Yeah. That's well, but that's still okay. I'll give it to you. Fix it. That. Oh, Brad left me. Oh, Jesus! Everyone keeps leaving. Um, that's a joke. Um, thank you, the maintenance man. Congratulations. By the way, I don't know if you were here last week. I think you might have missed it, if I remember right, because it was so short. But congratulations on hitting 1,000 subscribers. My hat's off to you, sir. Um, hoping that you monetize the channel soon and start getting some of that sweet YouTube nickels and dimes that add up over time. That would be an ideal situation. But I think it's close. Fix it. I really do. I mean that is on the what I will call on the precipice of exactly what we're talking about. But somehow, even Milwaukee, in their infinite wisdom, and they're pretty good about how they state things work and its capabilities. Even they're not calling it what we think it should be called. So it's probably not you I don't think they can legitimately say that you can really control the torque output. And if it's repeatable, what's the like this, how do you get that first setting? What are the ranges? They don't even go into that. Like even just an impact that specifically said, for instance, it has a lug nut setting that you can just set it and it's gonna, which I know there's a window and a range for each different car. I get that. But even if it said it had like a lug nut setting that was only going to torque it to, a certain window of torque, that I think would be even more along the lines of what we're talking about. And even they don't state that it's quite that. Renegade's garage is up to 174. Man, it sounds like, and it's been a while since I've been in those shoes. But it sounds like you're gaining pretty fast, man. I think at that level, I was getting like maybe 2 or 3 subs a week, maybe. Like I'd gain one, I wouldn't gain one for like 4 or 5 days. I'd gain another one. Like I fought and still kind of fight for my subs. Like it's not something that happens super often. Even now, I think I get like maybe one every couple days. Yeah, it's the first 100 that's the hardest, for sure. But then after that, the road to 1,000 for a lot of us seems impossible. I mean, there's some people that just get lucky and it happens kind of quick, but man, that's a long fucking road. Like yeah, but it does start to steamroll a bit after a while. It'll get easier. Content is key. Uh, Putting stuff out often, but quality is also a big factor in there too. So if I had to say, and I don't follow my own logic, but if I had to say, it's better to put out one really good video a month rather than 2 or 4 mediocre videos. And again, I don't follow that line of thinking in practice, but it would be advantageous to do it that way. Trying to skip 5 digits and go straight to 7. Thanks for the Cage Garage. Next goal, 5 digits. Yeah, like, whew, man. Like I said, well, yeah, you know Roger Wakefield. I know him too. I was watching Nick Nimmons live stream and I'd seen him in there a couple times and he had some big donations for Nick and things, but even before that, he followed a lot of those YouTuber kind of practices and he jumped like a huge amount. I recently think, and this not for any obvious reasons, but I recently think I unsubscribed because I was watching his stuff. But it's so niche oriented around plumbing and things, and it's mildly interesting, but it's not something that I'm gonna watch on a regular basis. When I went through all my subs recently and started throwing out stuff that had been on there forever that I never watched. I mean, I threw out some car channels and some other stuff, a lot of like the bigger ones, and I tried to just clean it up a little bit so my subscription list wasn't so varied. It was more like targeted at the stuff that I actually am going to try to watch and the people that I'm actively trying to support. Yeah, fix it. And well, and I stopped once for like 6 months or so. And the funny thing is, in that time, I stopped for like 6 months. And in that time, my salvage inspection video on, what you need to know to pass a salvage inspection. Just like, I mean, for me, I'm using this in relative terms, but for me, just like blew the fuck up. And that was one of the things was I got on there after, not really checking on anything for like months. And I got on there and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, how are my views up? Like what? And my subs were up, and I mean, again, relative for where I was at the time, and I was like, what the fuck? And I started looking into my analytics, and I was like, holy shit! Like, people are watching this video. Like, it's like it's doing really well. So then I saw Google was like high on my traffic list, so I just got the wherewithal to actually like Google salvage inspection, and my video since then is #1 on Google if you type in salvage inspection in the the video category, it's the first video that pops up, and still is. And um, I was recently looking at that. It may not sound like a lot, right? But I have the top 2 videos last time I checked in 3/8 electric ratchet. I have the top video in salvage inspection. I have, last I checked, if it's not the top, it's right up there in the programming keys and key fobs. I have I have a lot of videos that are in the top of Google search results, and also they're in kind of partners with it. Most of the time, YouTube's pretty close to that, so um, that helps out a lot. Like my key and key fob video, like every fucking month, gets like somewhere between 5 and 6,000 views, like religiously, and it shows no signs of stopping. And those things are nice. I mean, for me, I've said this before. I filmed that thing in like well, maybe a little more than 4 minutes while I was waiting for somebody in a McDonald's parking lot, not a drug dealer. But I was waiting for someone, and I was like, well, fuck it. Since I'm here, I'm going to like shoot this video real quick and program these keys and these key fobs, because it was just that simple. So I did it real quick. I did the video. It's only like 4 minutes long. It's pretty straightforward. Um, and I made it. And like, again, same thing with this. It was like nothing forever. And then just one day, people started watching it, and it somehow became like the #1 fucking video for keys and key fobs on GM vehicles. Um, and it works. And if somebody comes into the comments, you get a lot of this. It's like people don't even watch the video, but they'll come in and go, oh, well, I have a '03 Nissan Maxima. How do I do this? And I'll look into it for them. I genuinely will. I'll look into it. I'll see if I can find some direction, some guidance, and then I'll reply to them with whatever I find. Uh, it takes a little bit of time sometimes, but I try to get back to everybody, and I think that's somewhat helpful. People appreciate that. I don't know if it translates into subs and viewers. I doubt that it really does in the end, but at least then other people can see in the comments like, wow, if I ask this guy, it looks like he's going to try to help me. So I think that's probably the more important. Just like my salvage inspection, I have literally handheld and walked so many people through bad situations, not knowing what the hell they were doing. They had all kinds of questions, this, that. I mean, I've helped through email and the YouTube comments section. I've helped. I'm betting it's probably in the neighborhood of like 1,000, like somewhere between 700 and 1,000 people. I have directly responded and answered questions and tried to help make their passing salvage inspection a smoother process, however that might be. And that I get a lot of subs from that video, which kind of upsets me because I'm not really doing a whole lot of that content anymore. And obviously, I'm not going to have a garage for a while, so there are no car rebuilds in my future for the foreseeable time. But I want to get back to some of that eventually. But for now, it is what it is, right? All right, Fix It. Thank you for hanging out. Do appreciate it. I'm going to look into that one key stuff a little more, see what I can find out, because it's definitely interesting. Why is my boss messaging me at 9:30? Oh, he sent me another schedule. Uh-oh. Schedule. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, really, because I think at the heart of most of our channels, we want to help people. And I have a couple really good videos on doing that, and sometimes it kind of takes away from the whole YouTube aspect of it, to a degree. But I'd like to think some of those people that I helped subscribe, because let's ooh, come on, mousy mouse. The mouse likes to fall asleep. I'm going to transition over. Give me a quick second with your infinite vision. And I'm going to go into my analytics. Not porn, not porn, not porn. Okay, analytics. Oh, maybe well, yeah, I can get there from here if the computer ever loads. This is my backup PC. Ooh, look at that. My views are up almost to 800. That's pretty fucking high for me. So you can see here my top videos. Salvage inspection, we'll go to this one. It's got almost 1,300 views in the last 28 days. I have made $12.08 from it in the last 28 days again. So if we go lifetime since upload, now there's not going to be money on all this because I didn't monetize until August of this year, so you can't look at the revenue as like the lifetime of the video because I wasn't always monetized. But if you just look at this, just from this one video, I have gotten 175 subscribers from this one video, which doesn't, I mean, it sounds like a lot, maybe, but I mean, obviously that's over like 2 years of it being up, and just under 40K views, right? So I don't know what the translation rate to subscriber rate is there. Still not super high, right? But that's pretty damn good considering, most of my videos. None of them have like the 40K, but I bet my other videos don't come near that many subscribers from one video. And this is people that directly subscribed while watching the video. This doesn't mean that they watched another video and subscribed from that. It's not going to show up here. It would show up on that video. Or that after watching this video, they went to my channel page and looked around on there and clicked subscribe there. Then that would give the subscription to my channel page and not the video. So this is just people that watch the video and click subscribe. So, I mean, it does pretty good. Like you can see here, I made the video, it had some views, then like nothing for like months. And then somewhere in here was the time that I wasn't doing anything on YouTube. And let's just say, I don't know, somewhere around September, October, whatever, somewhere in here is when I caught the analytics and was like, wait, what the fuck's going on? And that's where I was getting like 30 views a day and shit. And I'm like, that's more than I normally get in like a week. So, like, how the hell, like, what was going on? And I figured it out. And as you can see, like, there's still some dips and dives, but it's fairly consistent. I mean, as high as, like, what is that, 90 somewhere up in there? Yeah, so some of them are up to what looks to be about 90. Yeah, 90 views in a day. This one's going to spike over here. If I could fucking get it. Somewhere there around the 90 mark. Again, the watch time, just to give you an idea, you can see this graph here. There's still a drop off at the beginning. That's still not hateful for the first like 30 seconds. And then for the most part, people stay for the information. So, through most of the video, I have about a 40-50% retention rate, which is not bad. So it's really, it's not that bad. And then like the most important thing is the click through. And this is that area that really did it for me. You see where there were times where I had a 30-50% because people were searching for this information. And of course, after a while, it kind of levels out a bit because they start putting it out to more and more people that are not specifically looking. But yeah, I mean, it's got a consistent click-through rate. It's saying over the lifetime of the video, it's 8.2, which is pretty average, on the good side of things. But yeah, so I mean, that's where that is. You see where that's at. Now, by comparison, we will come down here to my program keys and key fobs since published. Okay, so here we go. Nothing forever, right? For months, like nothing happened to this video, and then all of a sudden, people just started watching it. Now it's up to almost 60K. I've gotten 143 subscribers from this video alone, and $170 in revenue since August 10th, which is like literally right around here. So I've gotten, it looks like about 30,000-ish monetized views from this video, and that gave me the 177 or $170. And again, same thing on this one. There's a little dip, but most people are looking for the information, so I got about a little above a 40% retention rate. And like you can see, at almost at any point in the day, there's somebody watching this video. I mean, YouTube search, right? 60.4%, so people are looking for it. And then suggested videos are people that are searching probably, in most cases, similar topics, program keys, program key fobs, things like that. And then they show this, and, I get a lot of views from that. So, and then, of course, there's a couple places out there where I sent my video, and they're like Facebook posts and things, so there is still some small amount of external traffic from it. But, I mean, this just goes to show you, when you get a good video and it gets in front of people, you'll see that. Now, this one should have much worse metrics because it's viewed as a very negative video. Oh, wow, no. It's actually got a bunch of subscribers, too. So, this is my Bauer Tools Dirty Secrets video. And it did pretty good. And is still on an upward climb somehow, even though it's like way old information. Look, there's somebody watching it right now. But I've gotten 136 of my subscribers just from this video. And since I got monetized, I've made just under $30 of revenue from those views. Don't know how many that is, but yeah. And if this was a better video, because like it's got horrible retention, but the ones that do watch it, watch most of it, like that 30% or whatever, make it through most of the video, and it's 17 minutes, so it's kind of long. So, and there's a lot of reaction. A lot of people comment, a lot of people thumbs down because they think I'm an idiot. So, even the negative stuff is good stuff. Like, it still will get you pushed out because people are watching it. People are interacting. Like, I mean, that sounds bad. Don't go out there and put out shit content, I guess, on purpose. But if people dislike your video, it actually doesn't hurt you. Thumbs down are not negative. Bad comments are not negative as far as, getting YouTube to push you out there. So that's really weird. I would have thought that was much lower. Let me see. Well, like the Chemo Ratchet, this is just for like the monthly stats. But yeah, so like the Chemo Ratchet, 13 subscribers, not bad. It's going up there. It's definitely the #1 video for this. And other searches like the Chemo Ratchet, it's definitely #1. 3/8 Ratchet, I think it's #1. Electric Ratchet, I think it's in the top 10. It's definitely high up there. A lot of people watch this video. And I've made $27.03 from that video, which The tool cost me, I want to say it was like $60 when it came out. It had like a sale on Amazon, like during their launch. And so I bought it pretty much right after it came out. And the fucking thing sat here and I used it a couple times and I did some stuff. But like, I was using it and doing stuff. By the time I shot that video, I think I had the tool for like, it was like legitimately like somewhere between like 6 and 9 months. And I was just like sitting there one day and I was like, oh, yeah, I should probably do a video on this thing because it's working out great. Like, I hadn't even thought about it. I didn't buy it to do a video on it. I bought it because I wanted an electric ratchet. And it was on sale and it looked like it was quality. And I'd never heard of the brand. It didn't look like one of those bargain basement brands. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And honestly, I kind of wonder. I'm seriously wondering who makes that versus like the Milwaukee, because it seems like the Ryobi to Milwaukee kind of quality comparison. Like it's in the same neighborhood. It's just like a step down maybe. And I guess we'll never know because Project Farm did not include that in his 3/8 ratchet comparison video, which kind of upset me. I wanted to see some more there, but he only had like 4. It was Milwaukee, Makita, I think, Earthquake, and Pro Stormer shitting on Brad's workbench. Poor Brad. But Brad likes the Pro Stormer, so I mean that's got to say something, right? It's definitely a viable electric ratchet. But yeah, so even this is my general stuff. In the last 28 days, I've gotten 42 subscribers. You know, it's not bad, man. And then yeah, the estimated revenue tab, I've made $132 to date. Well, in the last 28 days. This is weird because as like stuff falls off here, the new stuff comes in, and so like your numbers always usually kind of floating around the same area unless you're on an up or down swing. It's kind of like you'll lose like a $2.40 day and you'll gain like a $3.50 day, and so like it really doesn't change the average that much. This, unless you're on some kind of trend one way or another, it pretty much floats around the same area if you're consistent. So yeah, you can see here. I know that you guys are probably bored out of your mind and you're commenting on whatever, or maybe there's nobody left in the chat. I can't see it. I can just see what's in front of me. But this just goes to show you, since August when I monetized, August was a small month and it was my first one, because I just got monetized. So I think they were kind of feeling me out. And then September was much better. And super chats are in this too. So it's not all views. And then October was a really good month. I think a lot of that had to do with super chats. And then November wasn't bad. So I'm getting about 130, 120, maybe, I don't know, average there's probably ended up to be around $150 a month, somewhere in there. It's really not bad. So once you guys actually monetize, that's some of, let me get back here to the happy family. If anybody's still here and talking, you could got to transition back. I need to get one of those little push button things to do all this shit. Chris M, what's going on? Sir, how have you been? I'm here. I'm alive. We will roll with the punches. I was just going over my. I think it started over subscribers and stuff like that, but I was showing how like you get a good video and people watch it, and you can expect a certain amount of subscribers to come from that. I don't know, call it like 2%, 5%, whatever it ends up being. But like it's almost like a formula you can kind of follow to a degree. And it makes a big difference. A few good videos can really like make the difference between the channels. So yeah, the better your video is received, or the worse. Like I said, negative isn't always bad. If you go out there and you make a video on how Milwaukee's shit because price point versus theft likelihood, or whatever, like the negatives would be there. If you go out there and say Ryobi's better than Milwaukee because, and make this video, and a whole bunch of people thumbs down, a whole bunch of keyboard warriors want to argue with you in the comments, and then other people are commenting on their comment going, yeah, I agree with you. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. If everybody thumbs it down, if everybody's bitching at you in the comments trying to argue with your point of view or whatever, or your opinion, it's still going to push that out because that's still engagement. So again, while you don't want to go out there and just, blatantly, I guess, try to piss people off, if you have an unpopular opinion about something, it's a good idea to maybe make a video about that unpopular opinion because, it's probably going to do well in the conflict area of engagement, which is still positive for you and your channel. Okay, let's see. I think we're done with that beer. Okay, this doesn't sound any better. What's the ABV on this? I'm not trying to get... Oh, fuck. 10%. What's this one? Jeez, I'm trying not to go full-on fucking 5% alcohol by volume, but this is a sour. This is a golden sour. It's like, I think it's a Pilsner. I don't know. But it's a sour one. And they're telling me on the side of the bottle how to drink it. Yeah, I don't follow rules. Plus, I like beer, but I'm not that fancy, right? Oh, come on. There we go. See, and check this out. I found this while I was packing my stuff to move because I bought it at like a garage sale or something like forever ago. It's a little 6-pack holder with a bottle opener on the side that's made out of wood. Granted, it's cheap and feels cheap, and it's barely tacked together with a couple of brad nails, but it's not bad. And some of my bottles do not fit in it right side up because they're too fat. But yeah, it's a nice little 6-pack holder with a bottle opener attached to it. Thought that was cool. Oh, holy shit. Ooh, they weren't kidding. That's sour. That's interesting. Because it's like a regular beer. Usually sours are like fruity stuff. Backwoods Mechanic, what's going on, sir? Thank you for stopping by. Oh, Jesus. Whew. Yeah. A sour beer. Usually they're a little more fruity. That's like a... It's got to be like a lot. It's not a lager, but maybe it's like a Pilsner or something. It's definitely like a normal beer that got soured. It's interesting. So, yeah. Unpopular opinions can be good. And then, like, Renegade's Garage, or not Renegade's Garage, damn it. What's the guy's name? Oh, fuck. Now my mind just went blank. It's something Garage. Who's the guy that did all the Icon videos? Something Garage. Brian from what the fuck? What is his channel? Redemption Garage. See, you can understand how I made the mistake there, the wordplay. So Redemption Garage, one of his videos that was the first one that I know that really blew up for him and got him to where he's at, was his 99% of people don't know this about Craftsman screwdrivers. And it was the old you can put a boxed in, what, like 11/16 wrench or whatever on it and turn the acetate handle thing, which everybody just tore him apart in the comments. I think last time I checked that video, come on, mouse. Did I mention that I'm using a piece of paper as a mouse pad? It is not advantageous. Let me see if I can get there. Redemption. Oh, fuck, he's still not even in here. Redemption Garage. Trying to type with one hand. There. Okay. Yeah, and then he started going not going after, like I think he got in a spat of some kind with the Den of Tools or something. I don't think that was good for him. Yeah, here it is. Let me switch you guys over so you can see what I'm seeing. Boom, desktop with the pretty face of mine over here. And so, yeah, here's his most popular video. Now it's up to 646K. I think the last time I looked at it, it was just below a 500,000. But, yeah, it's the 99% of people don't know this about Craftsman screwdrivers, that you can put a wrench on it. And I'll go into it here, turn it off, stop it from playing, and like, yeah, I mean, just everybody's in here, they're saying the video's too long, everybody knows what you're talking about already, like, it's just gonna break the screwdriver. He said the word ergodynamic instead of ergonomic, and people were tearing him up about that, like, but it blew his fucking channel up. I can't see his analytics to see how many subscribers he got from this, but as you can imagine, 646,000 views. He's sitting at 21,000 subscribers now. It gave him a nice bump, a nice bump from the controversy, we will say. So, yeah, I mean, that's just, I find that to be very interesting and something that most of us should think about. I mean, obviously, don't try to go out there and clickbait or, continually do, but if there's something that's on topic, tool topic, and it's maybe one of those less popular opinions or something that a lot of people don't share with you, it might be a good idea to do that video to try to weasel that in, because obviously it works, right? The Bauer Tools video is probably the closest I've come to anything like that, and that's just because everybody assumes in the video that I have no idea what rebranding is, which I've explained this before. I know what rebranding is. That wasn't the point of the video. Obviously, what I was trying to get to kind of went over everybody's heads for the most part, but I did still get a bunch of subs from it, and people are still watching. And the comment section is a dumpster fire of people just every day. Even now, I'll get a notification, and it's a comment from that video, and it's just somebody trying to tear me to shreds. It's at first it bothered me, and I tried to defend myself in the comments a little bit, and then past a certain point, I was just like, you know what, fuck it. They're watching the video, some of them, I'd comment like, oh, well, that shitty, snarky ass comment, oh, well, thanks for watching, or, whatever have you. Like, I got really jaded with it after a while, but now I just almost literally don't respond. Except the other day, somebody commented like, "Oh no, dude, no, they're gonna have different internals and different specs," and I was like, "Ha, nope, bitch, I got you," because I just did the video where I tore them apart and they're the fucking same. Go check out the video. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. It was really, uh, yeah. I stay out of the drama. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, to a degree, Renegade. But like I said, if you have a less than popular opinion that's genuinely yours, besides Snap-on is overpriced fucking Gucci for mechanics, um, yeah, then I would say uh, it might be a good idea for a video, depending on what it is. And it works for everybody on across fucking anything. I mean, if some game comes out and everybody's raving about it, but you think it's like lackluster and poorly developed and has, you know, glitches and problems that make it for you unplayable, and you made a video about that, it's gonna get some attention, hopefully. You know, that's the idea. Anyhow, drama does get views. This dude, Wrangle Star, has the most drama filled. Yes, oh my god. His stuff is like, I like him, and he's been on YouTube forever and a day. I actually did that one video where I made fun of him. Well, I won't say made fun of. I debated his points. I tried to with some class. But, I mean, he just literally, just even in the video, I think it wouldn't have been so bad if I watched the video and he had some good points. But he didn't have any good points. He had like literally no good points. And then somebody, one of his followers, I'm sure, somehow found out about my video. And then somehow it fucking got back to him in the middle of all that wildfire shit that was going on. So this dude's should be fucking busy, right? His homestead's on the verge of burning down or whatever. This might have been, I think they recently moved. It might have been around that time. Something, but anyhow, it was right around a very busy time for him. And yeah, it was. It was right after the move because he was talking about how he was setting up the new shop. But anyway, somebody told him about it. They must have, or sent him the link or something. And he came into my video. Fucking Wrangler Star came into the video, and the only thing he commented was, it wasn't cussing because he's a nice Christian man. He said like Milwaukee tapes suck or something to that effect, because that was one of the main points I was arguing, is that the Milwaukee tape isn't bad, he just bought the wrong one. So yeah, I mean, he actually came in on the video and commented on it, which I thought was kind of cool. And I can't remember, I'm not even gonna look it up, I can't remember if I replied to his comment. I don't think I did, but I doubt he would even give two shits, obviously. But like the fact that he came into the video and he commented, that's flattering to a degree. I mean, he's got how many millions of subscribers? But a lot of his stuff, like, you're right, anymore, it's not clickbait. But yeah, he has the most dramatic titles that he can come up with. And we all kind of do that, but his seem to be extreme. Like almost every time. They're to the furthest extreme you can go before that edge of complete clickbait or titles that just have nothing to do with the video. He follows really close to that edge. But I mean, to a degree, it's working for him. I mean, I don't know if he's got so many subs because he's been on YouTube so long. If so, then I only got about 7 years to go till I'm rolling in some fucking YouTube money, because I think part of the YouTube thing is just that, sticking it out, keep sticking it out, keep making your videos, keep doing your thing, change up your content, do whatever you got to do, but stay long enough. And I think eventually the people that are in your area, your genre, whatever, are going to work themselves over. Especially if like I see a channel, and this is like present company is obviously not, a part of this necessary idea. But if I see a channel that's got 500 subscribers, me being a smaller creator myself and actually understanding what that feels like and where you're at, if it's something that interests me, I'll click on it. But a normal person, they see a 500 subscriber channel and they're like, they might not even click. But once you start seeing videos with higher view counts and you start seeing channels with higher sub counts, like I was saying, after 1,000, it seems like a lot easier for me to get subs comparatively to before 1,000, because like it's that social engineering thing of people don't want to be alone, you know, in something. So if there's, X number of other people already subscribed or watching, views, whatnot, then they look at that and they go, oh, okay, like people are, digging this or watching this or subscribing to this. So, like, hold on, let me take a look at it. And they'll give it a harder look because of that, because other people have said, kind of thumbs it up or viewed it or subscribed. So it's kind of that mentality of, okay, well, like, what's going on here? And then, of course, like the really big channels, I mean, that's just, I don't know what the number is. I'm sure there's like a range, but somewhere around like 50 to like 100K, somewhere in that sub count range is, I think, where most of us would consider like you've made it on YouTube. And it seems like past that point, Mike's Garage, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. We're at this point talking general YouTube bullshit, what does well, yada yada yada. But past like 50 to 100, that area where we'll assume that you kind of made it on YouTube and you're probably making a pretty decent amount of money at that point. It's past that point, you have to try to fuck up a channel, right? Because YouTube's pushing you out to all relevant parties that might even maybe possibly like or watch your videos. Excuse me. So they're pushing you out. You already have a big fan base. So people are more likely to click and just to check out and see what they're missing out on, because obviously you're being supported by so many others. On YouTube, 100,000 subscribers is yeah, I mean, that's like the area where you've made it. You're like, for lack of a better term, official, right? Like one of the big dogs. I forget like what the percentage is. Most channels don't make it to 1,000. Like even 1,000 is really rare. 50,000, obviously, even more so, and yada yada yada. Like the millions is like, I'm gonna say it's probably approaching the level of like the odds of winning the lottery. And obviously, it's not necessarily those kind of same odds because it's what you put into it, but it's that same idea. So once you get that big, you have to fuck up. Like, you have to not listen to your audience. You have to call some she a he, or get canceled, or say or do some like super fucked up shit. Like, you really gotta try hard to screw up. And me and one of my buddies at work today were talking about, I think it was anime and stuff and channels, and it was this anime commentary channel, and I brought it up. I like said the name because we were talking about different stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like what the fuck? Like I can't believe they just stopped making videos." And that was an interesting thing because I was like, "Yeah, like I don't understand some of these people. I get like you might get tired of it or whatever, but once you're at a certain level, you're making 20 to who knows how many thousands of dollars a year, if not more, from your channel. And granted, it takes time and effort and da 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 to do, but that's literally like giving up an income or a second income, or I guess it depends on what your back end looks like. If it's still just mostly you or a couple people, that's still good money. I don't understand how some channels would just walk away from. I mean, I guess I can kind of get it. Some life could become more important, or everybody, things can happen, but I just can't see it. Like if I'm making $100 a month for the next 5 years on YouTube, guess what? You're still going to be watching. Today, this laser activated fucking electric ratchet with level assist, angle measurements, and all this other function. Yep, we're doing it today. We're reviewing this new tool. And I was actually, speaking of which, I have 7 happy people. Tools and Trash stopped in to look at my shiny bald head potty mouth. Yeah, my potty mouth will. Or, yeah, what didn't last long? My marriage? What are you talking about? um, we are supposed to be studying. Oh, is Mike in school with you? I didn't know that. How did I not know this? Anyhow, I want to ask you guys something since I got you in here. Um, I was watching CP's one of his recent live streams. I popped in for a minute, and he was saying he had the, what was it, Super Clean stuff, and I don't think he said it was like a sponsorship. I think he said they like sent him some stuff and yada yada yada. Well, I got an email today from Super Clean. And it's, it was your general YouTuber email. Oh, yeah, it's totally possible to make a living on YouTube. It just depends on what you consider a living. And especially once you get, like, big enough. Like, Brad from Brad's Workbench is really on the precipice of that. Between his woodworking projects and things that he does there, his products that he sells on his Etsy store, the YouTube revenue, his Patreon revenue, his sponsorships, if he's getting those, I don't know. But, all of those things combined can easily get to that area. The TNT, quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in Nebraska, I want to say. I want to say that's right. I think so. I think it's Nebraska. He seems like he's from Nebraska. Anyhow, so Super Clean got a hold of me, and I got the email somewhere in here, and they didn't say much. They basically just said, oh, like, your typical thing, like, oh, we'd be interested to send you out some products if you'd like to check them out, maybe do a video on them. There's not any demands or any of that stuff in the video or in the email. It's real laid back, no expectations. It doesn't seem so. That's good. But I was kind of like sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what could I do with Super Clean? Like, obviously, it's a degreaser and some stuff, but I'm like, like I don't know if I could like legit do a video. I thought about just kind of looking into it. Is that to see like not what I could get out of it, not like that, but to see if maybe there was some other way of working with them besides just a direct I don't know. I might get back to them and see, but what does anybody that has an opinion, what does anybody think of that? Because that doesn't, I mean, I guess it's like car related, but it doesn't really seem, as much as, yes, eventually I'm going to be doing some of that kind of stuff, like the Tack Life video. That was literally, basically, for lack of a better term, an advertisement for them. I wasn't forced to say anything or, speak positively or any of that. I was fairly surprised. I mean, it's a functional tool. It doesn't seem much far off from my chemo, and I really like that one. I think there are some spots where the chemo is better. I think there's some spots where the Tack Life has some features that I like a little bit better than the chemo. But it's apples to apples. It's really close. But like what I was kind of thinking, I might ask them if they want to do a sponsorship rather than like a product uh, thing, or maybe I don't know, just like an Instagram giveaway, or I don't know, something. Obviously, with the move and everything going on, I'm pretty busy as far as time goes. So you're probably not going to see any real videos from me until after the first of the year. And even then, we have no idea what those are going to look like. Got a very greasy lift. You can come and clean before I work on it. yeah, that's theoretically that's what it does. I've not had any personal experience with Super Clean, so I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm gonna get back to him and see what I can. Yes, I make real videos. Yes. Occasionally I make good ones, but I'm trying to get into that. I'm not going to go full on Billy Mays on you guys, but I'm trying to get there to where I improve the channel, hopefully attract like advertisers and partnerships and things. I am followed, and I don't know if you guys are. I don't think I'm special, but like I follow like some tool companies, right? Like, your SKs and, the sums like that and things. But I'm starting to get followed first by a lot of tool companies. And I'm not saying that, again, that I'm special. I don't think I am. But it seems like I'm getting a lot of those, like, tool companies are following me first. And not all of them are like the big companies, but a couple of them have been. And I don't know what the fuck that means. Probably nothing. But it's definitely weird when you get a notification and they're like, you know, Tecton Tools USA or whatever their, North America account is, uh, following you. Like, what the fuck? Like, I wasn't following them, but I am now. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just weird. And not all of them, I don't think, not all of them are as nice as like Work Pro, where Work Pro, I think of, and you can say what you want about cheap tools and yada yada yada. You're made in China. You can say all. I keep saying it. I'm not listening, but Work Pro as far as tool companies that are really seem to be like in the tool community, as far as like YouTube and social media, WorkPro just seems to be on top of it. I think they would be followed in a close second by like Ulsa and some of the others, because all the big companies seem to only want to work with all the big YouTubers and Instagram people and all those influencers or whatever you want to call them. Like the SK, there's some chick, I don't even know her name. She's very cute, obviously, but she's like, she does tool something. I don't know. I watched some stuff a while back. SK sent her a boatload of shit. Boatload. Like, and we know SK shit ain't cheap, and they sent her like fucking everything. I don't know what the chick does. It seems like she works on cars and stuff. Um, and she's a cute female, so she has that going for her. But yeah, they sent her a boatload of stuff. Like everything. Everything. It looked like a SK store exploded in her garage. And I was just scratching my fucking head going, how the fuck? Like, that's like, it was easily 10 grand worth of tools. And if I remember right, she didn't even have like an Instagram following that seemed to. I know plenty of guys that have. What Autobahn Dan's got a huge Instagram following, and I don't see him getting stuff like that. Yeah, sex sells. Yeah, she's a cute chick and she wears tank tops. That's all we need to know, right? And that's not to demean her. I mean, she can't help what she's got, and if I had them, they'd be front and center too. Be right here with a low cut top, and I'd be talking to 50,000 people instead of 8. But yeah, so it's that kind of stuff. But WorkPro, Ulsa, uh, seems like Tack Life's kind of trying to make some rounds. If they got to me, they have to have gotten to some other people. But I think they got to me because of the Chemo Ratchet video. Because I had the #1 video there for the electric ratchet. They saw that and that I did that well and people responded well. I think that's one of the reasons why they reached out to me on that. One of my buddies, Black Zeus Garage, who's local here to me, is a buddy of mine through YouTube. Like, I was watching him, started talking to him, found out we were in the same area, that kind of thing. And yeah, so we talk, we're friends now. But he just told me he actually got, I'm not going to disclose too much, but it's an auto parts, like, car parts company. Got a hold of him, asked if he would want to do a sponsorship. He said yeah, and he literally was just like, Matt, I've not done nothing like this before. I don't know like how to negotiate any of this. Nothing. He was unprepared, and he said he literally just threw out a number out of his head, and they immediately said yes, of course, yeah, no problem. And he was like, my first thought wasn't like, hell yeah, da da da. My first thought was, fuck, I should have asked for more. If they jumped right at the first number they threw out, they probably would have gone higher. But hopefully he can roll that into some stuff in the future. But he's got a build that he's doing. A vehicle build, and basically they're sending him, I forget, he ran a list down, and we're not talking 2 or 3 things. We're talking lift kit, this, that, the, suspension, like it was a long fucking list. They're sending him all this stuff for his, I think this is for a truck that he's doing. If I remember right, he kind of goes through cars a lot. But yeah, I mean, that just happened to him the other day, and he's only, I think, just over 7K subscribers. So, we're all working our way up, but I think the ones that give the smaller channels like some leverage like that, I think that's good. And just like with me, like the free stuff I get when I'm not destitute and moving and all these other things are going on, I give that stuff away. And I'm gonna give this stuff away. I gotta figure out how and find time to do it. But yeah, like the Tack Life Ratchet, one of you guys is getting that. 2 batteries, standard sockets, which I've mentioned before. That's kind of odd to come out of China, but standard sockets, that's an interesting choice. Maybe more tradesmen. They're trying to target with that. I don't know, but all right, Amos, thank you for stopping by and hanging out. I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, just stuff like that. It's really starting to happen. So I'm trying to make an attempt to prepare myself to get into that range. Again, like I said, I'm not going to go all full Billy Mays or whoever the new guy is, the Flex Seal, Flex Tape guy, Phil Plummer or something. Not going all infomercial guy on everybody, but like I want to be able to have those opportunities so then I can do more on the channel for the channel, giveaways and buy other products or whatever have you. Once I get moved and everything settles down, I'm going to actually start pulling my YouTube money. At the current point in time, it's just all sitting in my AdSense account because I haven't set up the payment system yet, but I'm going to set up its own bank account. I'm going to LLC the channel so I can keep it all straight and try to shift everything to where all the money just goes into one account. I can track it. I'll have like a card, associated with that account so then I can make all my purchases for the channel out of that and attempt to do it the right way for accounting purposes. Because I got to save. I think they say it's like 15%, but I'm sure it varies. But I got to save some for taxes and all that. So we'll see where I land at the end of that. But I'm going to try to do this thing the right way and actually make it into a seemingly profitable endeavor, right? So we'll see how that goes in the future. Harley parts are probably hard for dealers to get. You mean just like, oh, yeah, get some Harley parts. Yeah, I mean, it can't be impossible, but some companies like Harley, like Snap-on, you don't see them doing this shit because they don't have to, right? They don't need to. Nobody needs to be explained why, Harley is better than Honda, which that's an argument there in and of itself. Some guys will argue that with you, but it's a generally accepted fact that, goddamn, how the fuck, what, Jesus, I'm gonna have to turn the heater back on before too long. I think I dropped 10 degrees. Pretty close. Jesus. Freezing in here. Most people will tell you, Snap-on's better than Harbor Freight, Harley's better than Honda. What other ones would there be? Shit, I don't know. Wera's better than Stanley? I don't know. Somebody's got to do something about Stanley. We need to address the elephant in the room. As Zaphael will be kind enough to point out to everybody, Stanley fucking owns everything now. And for the most part, they're still putting out shit tools. At least as far as Stanley goes. Now they own a couple other things, um, Proto and whatnot. But you would think somebody with such a big market share would like try to raise the quantity or the quality up versus the quantity that they're selling. You would think. But then again, I make shit videos instead of one really good video a month. So I might try to. We'll see what happens after the dust settles from the move. But I might try to actually, not maybe once a month, but as often as I can, shoot and edit better videos. Yeah, Stanley Black & Decker owns fucking everything. Everything. I mean, and some of it, like the Proto stuff, is a lot of it's made in America. A lot of it's good quality, and I know like you got your separate brandings and shit, but come on, Stanley. Stanley's got some really good stuff. Somewhere over here, I got that Walmart ratchet I did a video on, and that's a Stanley, and that thing is one of my favorite wrenches, socket wrenches, because it flex head, extendable, like, oh wait, locking flex head, extendable, like. Where's the Snap-on locking flex head extendable anything? The Snap-on won't do it because they want you to buy two separate ratchets. They want you to buy the normal handle and they want you to buy the long handle. So they won't do stuff like that. At some point, it's all a game. First, like the tool companies. It's like this, okay? I dated a girl. I know. You'll have to trust me on this one. I dated a girl back when I was in high school, and it was not the worst relationship I've been in. And her grandfather lived down in Cincinnati, for lack of a better term, and he worked at Procter and Gamble. I was not out of high school yet, so this is like 98. Am I right on that? No, probably more like, yeah, like 99, 2000, somewhere right around there. And he worked at Procter and Gamble as I want to say like researcher, but like the new product like engineering aspect of part of Procter and Gamble. And I talked to him, and he made the Swiffer. Okay, it's a staple in everybody's fucking houses now, the little Swiffer sweeper thing. He made that. Okay, and here's the one thing that got me on the I mean, I already knew the profit aspect of things was there, but this kind of glaringly showed me the level at which it goes to. The first Swiffer that came out on the market was the stick with the pad, right? The duster. That was it. This pad, you put it on the end of this thing, you run around your hardwood, it picks up dust, it clings to it like a magnet, you dust your floors, your whatever with it. The Swiffer Sweeper. That was the first thing on the market. And then sometime later, there was something else, and then there was the Swiffer Wet Jet, and then after that, there was like a little one in a few recent years that has like a small like vacuum kind of thing built into it. It's really small. It's not super powerful. and not nearly as popular as like the Wetjet or anything else. But the that one's come out now. And when I was sitting there talking to him, I was like, "Oh, so you made the Swiffer on a stick thing?" And he was like, "Well, no. I mean, yeah, but no." He goes, "What happens is we made the first Swiffer. It was not the Swiffer Sweeper stick and pad that everybody thinks is the first Swiffer. The first one he made was the one with the mini vacuum and the Wetjet built in and a couple other features that I don't even think they've actually come out with yet. That was the prototype. We can do all of this." And they said, "All right, that's great. We like this. Now strip it down to its basic components and we're going to piecemeal it out. We'll put it out as the Swiffer on a stick, the cheap, easy to make pad thing, and we'll do that. And if that works, then we'll bring out the Wetjet. And then if that works, then we'll add the one with the little vacuum. And if that works, we'll yada yada yada." He already made all this shit years ago, decades now ago. And some of it is still not even on the market yet. Like, oh, there was a feature that would tell you when to change the pad based on, how often you were using it. I think it was like I don't know if it was like a gyrometer kind of thing. It had like a little brain system. It would, the squirts, it would tell you like you need to refill your fluid, as if it not squirting wouldn't be an indication, but stuff like that. But yeah, like it was basically like a little super, Swiffer smart thing. Was the actual one that they first created, and they dumb it down and release it out in stages so that they can get more and more sales. As if the pads alone wasn't enough reoccurring sales to sustain their profit margin. Highly doubt they'll really go American made except for specialty products. Yeah, probably. Maybe install the plug head and the pressure relief valve to see if he's paying attention. Harley has parts for and works on bikes for about 10 years. After that, aftermarket kicks in. Same with automotive dealerships. Yeah, I was doing a job on a 98 Oldsmobile with somebody here in the garage not too long ago. It's a Cutlass, that bubble early 90s body style. And he needed bolts. Or, okay, I'll say this. He wanted bolts for something. We were doing suspension and struts or shocks and struts and all that. And it was some bolt that he wanted. We had to go get it from the dealership. He had to special order it, and these were the last ones they said they could get. Like, what was it? We wanted like 4, I think, but we could only get 3, and we waited like a week and a half to get the 3, and they were like literally like, no, like there are no more. We can't get them for you. No, this is it. They're discontinued. And I mean, I get that that's like a 90 something car, and that's way past the point of what you're saying. But that whole thing, like, quit making specialty shit. Make it a regular bolt that I can replace. You know what I mean? Like some specialty shoulder bolt with some kind of special head on it, or some kind of um, chamfer that only fits in. No, like just make it but design it the right way. I mean, if it absolutely needs some feature, I guess you can do that. But then make it to where and how much can those things cost? just make up a bunch of them and keep some stock. You know, your bolt, your product shouldn't outlast the parts that bad. You know what I mean? But they do. It's a common occurrence anymore. Like, look at Brad. Brad had to have his shaft on his jet bandsaw custom made by a machinist, because even after waiting and getting a hold of the company and doing all the stuff that he did, the one they sent him wasn't even right. It was really, really close. Like, it should, looks like it should have been right, but it wasn't even the right one. Like, and that came from the manufacturer. So it's like, I kind of think on that one, I kind of think they either made it for him or they thought they had it in like the back somewhere on a shelf and some dust, but it got put in the wrong area or mislabeled. Maybe he legitimately got the wrong one, but it looked close enough to be like they made it and they made it wrong, trying to get him apart, because he paid like, I want to say he paid like hundred some bucks after shipping. Hey Austin, glad to see you back. Thanks for returning to the stream. I appreciate it, sir. Uh but yeah, he had to have it custom made because the one they sent him was wrong. I don't even think he sent it back for a refund. I think he just ate that up. And that's a lot of the times, a lot of us do that. We end up eating up the cost of certain things or having to come up with a fix or a repair on our own because you can't get parts. Parts aren't available. They're discontinued. They're this and that. Like, it's just, it's nuts anymore. And some of it, like you guys are saying, is, yeah, like 10 years out. And then you got to hope that the aftermarket kicks in. If you have some unpopular shit that didn't sell well to begin with, there's probably not going to be much of an aftermarket for it. It's ridiculous. We need to make, everybody wants to talk about it as ecological stuff and environmental impact and things. We need to make more stuff that lasts longer, that is repairable, and not just disposable and replaceable. I mean, if we really want to be serious about that, we need to do that across, all aspects. I mean, the only reason that a company should ask you to send in a part or a tool or an item is for, like reclaiming what they can if they're going to, or recycling whatever they can from that to back into the system. Like say a broken wrench, for instance. If the company's really asking for that back, they should obviously recycle it. That's the whole idea behind like the core charges on a lot of automotive parts, is they will rebuild that broken part you have, and then it goes back out as, rebuilt. You don't get a lot of that stuff anymore. Is rebuilt. You see it everywhere, like your alternators, your starters, those big heavy copper wound motors and things. They're almost all rebuilt. You have to struggle to find something new, and then a lot of times you don't want it because that's sometimes made of inferior quality in lands of sunrise. Yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I don't know. We can't fix all those problems. The damn engineers engineer these vehicles, and as soon as they engineer themselves into a corner, or the service people come through and tell the design team that they can't reach something or access something, they just design another tool or another wrench or another adapter or something to make that possible, rather than just trying to fix the fuck up to begin with. Oh no, you can't redesign the frame of a car to where it doesn't obstruct the third fucking the third spark plug. You have to make it to where they have to disconnect the steering assembly and all this other stuff to get to it. No, we'll put in a little access flap in the wheel well. No, just fucking don't design it like a fucking idiot to begin with and make it right. Like, oh, that's where we're at with the cars and the things. I mean, nothing. You'd be surprised, man. Somebody, one of my buddies at work today was saying, he saw a big TV out on somebody's trash, like out by somebody's trash, and he went to the person's house and said, "Hey, what's up with the TV?" The guy's like, "Oh, like every time I turn on Netflix, it turns off and da da da. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't mess. I just bought a new TV. It doesn't work." He was like, "All right, what do you mind if I take it?" Took it. There's nothing wrong with it. It was like the dude's internet connection or something. He didn't have it hooked up to the TV or something. My buddy said TV works fine. It's a smart TV. It's 75 inches, 4K. I forget what brand he said it was. It wasn't like Sony or anything, but it wasn't a bad brand either. And 75-inch TV for free somebody threw out because they couldn't figure out how to work it. Like, you know? What the hell? And I get products are more complex and uh, technologically advanced than they used to be, but everybody thinks everything is disposable, especially something like a TV. There's a lot of shit that goes into that. It's not easy to recycle that either. You got to work. You got to tear out the circuitry and the copper wires and stuff to try to reclaim that. Most people don't. A lot of that stuff ends up in landfills. Really, truly does. And it's upsetting. Um, I saw something when I was surfing. I just finally got my time set on my VCR. And then the power goes out and you have to do it all over again and you've forgotten how you did it the first time. Man, people do not realize how hard it was to set the time. Hey, Mark C, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping in. Um, most people do not realize how hard it was to set the time and fucking date on a VCR. Like, I don't think, like, probably 80 to 90% of the VCRs I ever owned or had experience with weren't set for that reason. It was like, at that point, you may as well just learn how to program a computer. It was like, it was super screwed. And then, remember, we had those little standalone tape rewinders that could rewind like a whole tape in like a minute or two, where like the VCR would literally take like 5 to 7. Like, it was just. I put black tape over the clock on the VCR. Yeah, I mean, it was really that bad. Like, early on, technology was a lot different, right? And I just had this conversation with a couple ladies at work. We were out at the smoking area. We were talking about all the kids and the homeschooling and the computer learning and all this shit that's going on, which I do not like, by the way, but whatever. And so we were talking about that, and I was sitting there and I was telling them, I was like, nowadays, right? Like, I don't 10 years ago, everybody was saying Betamax, Betamax. What was oh god, yeah. I remember the laser discs. The oh my fucking god, they were the size of a dinner plate, and it took like 4 of them to get through a movie. It was nuts. That was like right before the CDs came out. Be kind, rewind. Yeah, you ain't kid. But I was telling these ladies, I said, anymore today, Like 10 years ago, everybody was saying, like, oh, don't let your kids have electronics for long periods of time. You know what I mean? Like, you want them to grow up like real kids, go outside, play, do this, draw, color, do other stuff, not the electronics as much, which is still kind of true. Yeah, the big fucking laser disc, it literally did. You had to change discs so much, and that fucking, oh my god, I know someone that had one, and it was like their movie collection. It was like 10 movies or something, but it was stacked like this because them things look like fucking books. Like, you really did. You had to change the disc every like literal like 20-25 minutes or something. It was ridiculous. I think they started getting fancy. Like, some of them were double-sided. It's ridiculous. But anyhow, so like, yeah, like 10 years ago, it was don't give your kids all these electronics, all the time. 8-year-olds don't need phones and yada 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 yada. But now, just like a short decade later, if you don't give your kids access to technology, at least to a, we'll call it a varying degree, you are crippling them. Because, like, think about the current situation, right? My kids had no need to really learn how to work a computer for school. They're young, they're in lower grades, like, that wasn't even really. I mean, they did some fun stuff on the computer, yeah, but it wasn't like required. Now, my son is doing like 2 days a week, and the rest of his time is online learning. He has to, like, be able to use a mouse and click and follow like the simple instructions and things. So now it's actually a benefit that he has a tablet and can kind of follow along with some things and figure like some of the really basic navigation things out. But it's shit like that. If you don't give your kids access to technology on a real level now, you're crippling them, because then when they're a teenager, or God forbid, even further than that, them trying to catch up to where everybody else is already going to be is going to be a much more difficult task than them gradually learning it themselves over time. Yeah, I mean, me too. I was riding BMX bikes and going up to the track and building little ramps and playing down at the creek and fishing and catching snakes and going to the park for no reason. Just, I mean, literally whatever was going on, I was somewhere doing something. I mean, I was far. I mean, let me think about that. The park was, call it 5 suburb blocks from my house. There was no phones like today. There was no way to come get me, tell me I needed to come home, other than just me knowing I could be anywhere. And like, now that I really think about it, I could have been anywhere in probably a 2 to 3 mile radius, maybe even sometimes further. Yeah, I mean, I went some fucking distances, like, and with no way to, actually be checked up on. I don't even think half the time, I don't even think my parents had the phone numbers to my friends' houses. Like, it's just, God, it's such a different time. You could play outside without being afraid of pedos. I mean, I'm sure they were still there, but they weren't as brazen as they are nowadays. I really think about, like, you see those videos and things from time to time where like a mom somewhere with her kid, like, and this is usually, we'll just say usually, and probably in like another country, say like South America, Mexico, places like that, and Like someone will just literally, like the mom's right fucking there, and they will run up and snatch the kid and try to do like the God, we call them beer runs around here, where you run in the store, grab beer, and run out. Like they literally try to do that with fucking kids now. Like it's I cannot. I mean, I'm aware. I'm situationally aware, but I can't say that that specifically is ever even really crossed my mind. You know what I mean? That, oh shit, like what if this, I'm sure if somebody creeped me out, was acting funny, like I obviously would raise my suspicions and my awareness and da da da, but like just in general, especially if like you're in a shop or something like that, like am I using a mic? Yeah, it well sort of. It's I have the camera hooked up to my camera, and I have the microphone is my webcam, but I'm just using the webcam as a microphone because I can't run the audio through my DSLR camera. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like kids used to be I mean, eh, I'll say tougher, for lack of a better term, more resilient, whatever you want to call it, more they would stand up for themselves a little more, a lot more. Nowadays, it's a weird kind of place. Like I think a lot of kids are either sheltered to some degree, or I don't think kids today quite have the balls that we did when we were kids. And I'm not even talking about boys. I'm talking about girls too. Okay, well, you should be all right. Honestly, Mark, I've been on here for over 2.5 hours, and it hasn't been that bad. Amos came back. Yes, he did. Thank you, sir. We're talking about pedos and kids snatching and what's that got to do with tools? I have no idea, but somehow we got on topic. But yeah, like these third world countries, man, they're like legitimately snatching fucking kids, like out your fucking arms in some cases. Like, I don't think a lot of us really consider that to be a direct threat. And that's fucked up that it is anywhere. I mean, regardless where you're at, what you do, what you make, what country you live in, that like shouldn't be a problem. It's super fucked, right? It's just it's not the same time. Like people won't let their kids play at the park next to their house that's within eyesight if they're not there with them. Yeah, I've been on here for, yeah, 2.5 hours according to the little time clock thing that's flashing 12 every 2 seconds like my VCR. Speaking of VCRs, the wife actually has a huge Disney collection, and like the majority of all of the good shit is VHS tapes, of course. So she's got a lot of that. And a while back, we found a VCR at a garage sale. And, like, it's, I don't know if you've priced a fucking VCR lately, but they are expensive. I am actually on a sour beer. This is, I'm going to say the second beer. I opened this one, but it's uh imperial stout brewed with cinnamon, and it fucking tastes like beer that somebody put cinnamon in. It's not okay. It's pretty horrible. It's not very drinkable, I don't think. So I've sidelined that one about a quarter of the way through and switched to something else. And this one now is a sour, um, and it's not bad. It's really not. Ooh, fancy beer. Yeah, a little bit. I got this one from Jackie O's. It's called Oil of Aphrodite. It's an American Imperial Stout brewed with walnuts. Hopefully, this is better than the cinnamon when I make it to there. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's a weird world that we're living in. And I really was an average life expectancy of a middle-aged white man. Like, it's kind of iffy, right? Like, you could go when you're 50s. That's pretty common. Hoping I last a little bit longer, but I mean, in all reality, I'm 37, about to be 38, I think. Yeah, about to be 38, and like legitimately, I'm about halfway through my life. Like it's literally, for lack of a better term, downhill from here. And I don't know. I just don't know where we're gonna be at in another 40 years because everything's moving so fucking fast now. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, cell phones were like the big fucking briefcase thing, that you had to carry around with you in the 80s. Well, I guess that's more than 15 or 20 years. God damn. See what I mean? See how fast time has moved? I remember when credit cards had the little fucking machine, you had to imprint the card onto the triplicate paper and have the person sign. I remember those. I fucking used them. I had to do that. Like, that was like, it was like a check, but different. Yeah, it's the only way I can explain it. And I don't even think like credit limits were a thing. I don't see how they could have been. Like, I guess it would have just, I don't know. It didn't like get ran like stuff now. Like, it literally was like a plastic check. You know what I mean? Oh, but yeah. Yeah, so we're at about halfway through life and things have gone pretty fucking fast up to this point. I remember when you could smoke in restaurants and in like buildings, and now you can't. I mean, things are just moving so fucking fast. The technology now, we're like doubling every like 5 years. But I will tell you guys something, and to my knowledge, they haven't fixed it yet. There's a problem with processors. Last I checked, I could do some searching and double check just to make sure. But the last time I checked, the whole idea behind all this dual core, quad core, 8 core logic processors on computers and phones and everything else. The whole idea behind this is because there is a ceiling that they cannot pass through as far as processors for a single chip. And they haven't been able to crack that yet, right? I think some of the fastest processors are like 4, maybe 5 gigahertz per processor. That's like probably like the upper echelon. It's of single core processors. That's really important. Single core. So all the stuff that they're doing now to make us faster and make things be able to process more is they're making more and more cores work together. Single core processors, they're putting 2 of them together in, say, parallel or in conjunction, working side by side together. And then 4, and then 8, and then so they really don't want to do that. Single core processors are better, right? They process faster, they do a better job at dedicated tasks, like singular functions. The multi-core processors do good at doing a bunch of separate things, calculations, processes together. So they each kind of have their own benefit, but the single core is universally known to be better, but they can't surpass the current limitations of what they can put in a single core processor. So that's where the double core, the triple core, the quad core, the octo core processors are coming in. Is they're literally at a roadblock, and you would think that, okay, well, we're figuring that out. We're just putting more and more cores in the processor, you know. But the problem there is they can only make those cores so small. And up until recently, they couldn't do like the real dual cores, like within the last, I don't know, 20 years or whatever it actually was. At first, they couldn't make them small enough to like for it to still be a viable option. So then as that has gotten better and they can make them smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So then okay, we can kind of do more. We can put more cores in this same rough size processor and kind of like work it. But then we're going to run into the size limitation. We can't keep just making the processor smaller and smaller. They are going to have to get bigger to keep up, to be able to add more processors to the mix. You know, I think currently like some of the biggest, and here's the other thing. We may have already figured this out. Chances are maybe we have, and the military is just keeping it a secret, because the military industrial complex is generally, it was said in like the early 2000s they were like 20 years ahead of consumer technology, but now most people and a lot of people in the defense industry have come out and said that that's like not even close to right. They said they're pretty much like 50 years ahead of consumer technology now. You think about like the spy games of like the Cold War era and shit, where they were doing stuff that we just now think is possible with like microphones and little singular circuit bug devices that you could place in rooms, and think like the little tiny cameras, and that stuff that was like in the 70s and early 80s was like literally unheard of, super secret spy stuff. That's the same kind of stuff that's in our fucking cell phones now. Obviously, it's gotten better, but it's the same kind of idea behind a pinhole camera, right? It's just a better camera. So, yeah, they're way ahead of us in terms of what they actually have. In respect to all the processing in a big communication bus. And that's what they're doing. But again, that's the problems, FIL, is that we're stuck. We're stuck technologically at what we can do with a single core processor. It can only go so fast. We're at the cap. And so then that's where, again, we started working them together in multi-core processing units. But now, like you're saying, we're running into the problem of we can only make them so small. And they still need adequate heat transfer and all these other things. So now we're hitting other roadblocks because we couldn't fix the first one, and to my knowledge, still haven't. So it's just that kind of thing. Wait. It took the Air Force. It only took the Air Force to design and build and fly its newest 6th generation plane. I miss. You really think we have the? There's not a lot of quantum computing, if any, going on right now. I mean, that I'm aware of. Maybe I'll have to look into that, because Buddy of mine who's a big tech guy, he told me about the processor dilemma. This was probably, yeah, like probably like 15 years ago when the dual cores and quad cores and things were like really starting to gain um, commercial application, I guess. Um, yeah, he was explaining it to me then and basically said that they were stuck. And he said he literally did tell me the next thing they're going to get stuck on is they can't make them small enough. So then your what's now a 2 by 2 inch processor is going to have to all of a sudden start getting bigger and bigger because they can't make the technology any smaller. So yeah, I mean it's yeah, mousetrap, you know. Better trap, better mouse, better trap, better mouse. You just keep jumping back and forth. But in this case, we're moving from one problem to another because we're stuck on one, then we're going to get stuck on another, then we're going to try to fix that. Hopefully, at some point, we get over it. But, that's probably one of the reasons why, you know, like those big supercomputers are still fucking huge. And granted, back in the days, they were less computing power than our phones have. But nowadays, they're big, giant fucking server rooms and things like that. It's still kind of the same thing. It's still a giant fucking contraption. It's just gotten much faster, but it still takes a lot of hardware to do that. I think you're looking at it wrong, says Zaphael. They haven't hit the limits. They're just going to a different direction when going gets hard because it's easier to make smaller, more core. Well, yeah, but nobody's figured it out yet. And maybe you're right. Maybe they just changed the direction of the river because it was a roadblock of sorts. Maybe it wasn't worth the effort to try to surpass that glass ceiling. Instead of at that time just making them smaller, path of least resistance, I guess. So maybe once it becomes a big enough issue, if it ever does, then they will put more efforts and resources into getting past that roadblock. I mean, that's a valid argument. I'll give you that one. But I do still think here's the other thing. It's like the cell phones, right? I remember back in the day, I think like my first Android phone had like a half a gig of RAM, not ROM, totally different RAM. The makes things happen memory, and so and it did all right for what it was at the time. The problem here is, as I see it, and the same thing goes with all of these. This is a Galaxy Note 9. It's still chugging along pretty good. Surprisingly, it's over 2 years old now, but it's doing all right considering. But most electronics and computers and things don't do that well over a longer period of time like they used to, because as the computing power gets better, as you it's cheaper, more cost effective to add more RAM to things like this, computers, phones, whatever. I kept saying, like, when I had the half a gig of RAM, I was like, man, if I could just have a phone with like a gig of RAM, this thing would run so much better. Well, there's a problem with that. The developers and the people making the programs and the softwares and things, when a system is generally like the we won't say about the minimum requirements, we'll say like the optimum requirement, like what they consider it really needs to function effectively. Um, as that level raises, they don't go, okay, like, yeah, we're good. This computer's going to run fucking sweet, you know? They're like, oh, well, now we can eat up more of that RAM and we can add this function and we can add this. Oh, and we have this much processing power. We can use this much more. And so, like, as it goes up, this thing's got 6 gigs of RAM, I think. About phone. Software information. Status. Okay, no, I'm not seeing it. Software information, build number. Da, 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 da. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. Battery level, no. Okay. Yeah. I don't know where it's at. But it's an I think this got like 6. It might even have 8 gigs of RAM. I've had desktop computers that don't have that much RAM and do things just fine. It's the more that there is, the more they use on programs and software and things. And so it's, in my opinion, yes, like obviously this computer's better than the one from 10 years ago. But I'm saying the more resources the system has, phone, computer, whatever, they literally designed the things then to use all of that. And so then, generally speaking, when you start trying to do a couple of good things at once with the newer program that's optimized for your system, you still run into the same stuff. Like every computer lags down at some point to varying degrees under certain conditions. This application eats too much RAM. This application eats a lot of processing power when you're rendering a video. So there, if you go try to do something else while you're rendering a video, your shit's gonna barely function. It's like, I mean, I know it's progress and they're trying to like actually like make things better, but it seems like I almost wish that we could go back to like a more like functionality based. I would much, and sadly, I think Apple's probably, that's one of the reasons why they do so well, at least initially, is their shit runs really clean. They've done really a good job at keeping things simple on a software standpoint, so that when they want to deliberately slow down your phone to force you into buying a new one, they can, and it's a noticeable difference, right? Like this, it works okay. It's I think this is an iPhone 8 that work gave me, and it does all right. I don't do a lot on it, obviously, but it's all right. It's slow sometimes, depending on applications and network usage, but like it still seems pretty functional. But they're not giving these out anymore. They give out the iPhone 10 now when we get phones. Um, this is the one from like a year and a half ago that they were giving out. So it just ups and ups like cars. Like they're making the engines faster and faster, and they're attempting to make them more fuel efficient and things. And I think even in that, I think everybody kind of knows we could do a better job, but I think like they're holding themselves back because of the current constraints of what they feel the system is at the current point in time. You know, people still want speed. You know, if everybody's, and I'm not saying this is a fun world to live in, but if everybody's top speed, like full on, all out, was 80 miles an hour, I would be willing to bet that you could make that car more fuel efficient than what we're driving now. Where a car can, you know, if depending on if it's got a governor on it or not, a car can go 130 miles an hour in its top gear, then yeah, you know, it's your why if the speed limit top speed limit in America is, let's just say it's 90. Let's just say it's 90. It probably is fucking 90 somewhere. But let's just say it's 90. Why are we making cars that can go faster than that? What's the point? Like I get like, you know, you want your big engine car, and that would be fine. There you go. Here's your track car. You drive it on the track. You don't drive it to fucking work. It's a hot rod. It's a race car. It's a track car. That's what that is. It goes really fast, and it doesn't follow these other rules. But as far as commuter cars, how fast do we really need to go? 80, 90 miles an hour. I mean, most people around here do that for fucking shits and giggles, but that's pretty much all you need. So why don't we optimize the efficiency of a car for something that goes that fast? Don't limit it at that. Like have a fucking 4.6 six-cylinder engine that's capable of doing all this other stuff, but then is governed down. Have one that's really fuel efficient and that only has an optimized top speed of 90 miles an hour. I would almost bet you that that would be a more fuel efficient vehicle than a Corvette with a similar motor in it that can, you know, far exceed that top speed. Uh-oh, comments. I'm gonna get tore up in the comments. Yeah, Firefox. Zaphael, Firefox. I love it to death. It's the only browser that I want to use, but sometimes not this PC, but my main PC inside, my video editing PC, has 64 gigs of RAM. And Firefox, just all out of fucking nowhere, with like 2 windows open, will start taking up 20 gigs of fucking memory. Out of nowhere. And I mean, obviously, that's like a common Firefox bug, is that it just starts eating up resources for no fucking reason. But so, I mean, yeah, that's kind of their issue that they never fix. But like I said, that's the whole issue. It just ends up eating up more of what's there, and you end up with a shit experience. And when it does that, my computer gets noticeably slower, obviously, and